G'day golfers and welcome to the channel. Today we're going to be on the putting green. We're on the third green at Monash Country Club and we're going to show you the most important aspect of putting, and that is of course speed control. Now this green is quite a challenging one. It's got lots of undulations in it. Members really struggle to read it sometimes. It's a challenging green, but if we can improve our speed control then we can make these putts a lot easier. So much emphasis is often placed on the technique and the stroke, mechanics, alignment, and of course they're important, but speed control is where it's at when it comes to putting. If you want to hold more putts, you've got to improve your speed control. Now, according to ex-NASA scientist Dave Pelz, he has written a book called The Putting Bible, amongst others. I've read a lot of his stuff, really have a lot of respect for Dave Pelz, and he has stipulated that with all the tests that he's done, thousands of studies, he has worked out that if you're hitting your putts firmly enough to go 17 inches past the hole if they were to miss, that's giving you the optimum chance of holding putts. Well, that really piqued my interest because I was a die putter before I read that book. I would try to die it in. Therefore, my theory was that if it just got to the hole, if it caught the lip, caught the edge, it would fall in. But what we're looking for is a balance, because the problem with that is I was leaving a lot of putts short, and also the ball would often die off. It would hit some undulations in the green, any sort of irregularities, and it would wander off. And it's possible to get this volcano cup type of shape around the hole with lots of footprints, sort of a foot to 2 feet around the hole, and then the hole is actually raised. So if you've got a little bit of extra speed, then that's going to give you a better chance of holding putts. We're looking for a balance, soft enough to lip in and do catch some side of the hole, and if it catches the side of the hole it's going to fall in, but firm enough to hold its line. Now if we're too firm, and a lot of good players try to putt this way, they try to ram the ball in. If you're too firm, then that means that, let's say you're hitting a putt around about firm enough to be 3 foot past the hole, or roughly a meter past the hole. Now the hole is only half its size. What I mean by that is you've only got half of the cup to aim at with your ball. And if you don't hit that center, I wouldn't say dead center, but you've only got half the cup to aim for. If you don't hitting that firmly, then you're lipping out. Now, I don't like those odds. So we are looking for the balance, soft enough to lip in if you catch the side, but firm enough to hold some sort of line. And it doesn't matter what sort of putt you have, speed is really critical. So I've got 3 putts here set up. I've got the really long uphill one, so that goes without saying. The further away from the hole you are, the more important speed is. Trying to judge the speed of a long uphill putt. It's a slow putt now, it's late in the evening, it's dewy. So that's really critical. We've got a short bit of a break, 7 feet putt. Again, you've got to get your speed right if you want to hold those putts. You can have the best line, but if your speed's off, then the break's going to change. And then we've got a breaking 20-footer. Again, speed is really critical. Let's start with the breaking 20-footer. As I've said before, I like to have a look from the side first, decide what your speed is. A little bit of uphill and downhill, and coming to the low side here, it's a left to right putt. I can really get a good 3D image of the putt, and I can read that better. Get your speed first. Decide how hard you need to hit that putt. Maybe even have a practice stroke from behind the ball here. And once you've decided what your speed is, then that gives you an idea of how much the putt's going to break. You pick your line. Really important to get the speed. So just one practice stroke next to the ball is my routine, working out how long the stroke needs to be. Notice I said how long the stroke needs to be, not how hard I want to hit the putt. What we're doing here is we're keeping the same tempo, whether it's a 6-7 footer or a 60 footer. We want the tempo to be same, but the length of the stroke is what's going to change. So I've picked my line, I've decided my speed, quite a breaking putt. And what do you know? Good holding speed. Now, I don't agree with Dave Pelz exactly, because that 17 inches past, it changes depending on how fast or how slow the greens are. I suspect that a lot of his tests were on fairly fast greens, a lot of tour stats that he's done. So rolling 17 inches past on quick greens makes sense. However, if you've got a slow uphill putt and your greens are only running at, let's say, 7 or 8 on the stimp meter, 17 inches past is a lot. That's hitting the ball probably too firmly, and you can get that lip out. So on slower greens, your holding speed is the same. I couldn't measure it in feet per second or inches per second or kilometers per hour. Couldn't measure that. I just know what holding speed feels like to me. And that's what I'm trying to create when I'm hitting a putt. I'm trying to get that ball rolling at the hole at that ideal holding speed. So on a slow uphill putt that's running around 7 or 8 on the stimp meter, you might only decide to go 8, 10 inches past. It's going to be different. Right now, the long uphill putt. I don't pace out my putts, but I do like to have a look from side on, get an idea of how long that putt is. The undulations, definitely uphill, then flattens out, then uphill again. Right to left on this one. Again, the one practice stroke, this is going to be a longer stroke, but the tempo is the same. The speed is critical on all of these. All right, so a little bit under red, but look at the speed. Speed has given me a much better chance of getting a good 2-putt there. The speed is good. All right, so you misread the putt. Everyone's going to misread putts from time to time, but you've got to keep working on that speed. As I said, that's the most important aspect of putting. Now I've got a 6 to 7 footer, left to right. I'll have a little quick look from the side first. Pretty level. And then from here, a little bit of left to right. Now if I get the speed wrong, that's going to change the line. If I hit it too firmly, it goes through the break. It goes too straight, doesn't take the break. If I hit it too softly, it's going to break across the face of the cup there. So speed is critical. A lot shorter stroke this time, but the tempo again remains the same. Little bit on the soft side and I've gone across the face. Let's try it one more time. There's a typical example of I haven't missed that because I got the line wrong, I've missed it because I got the speed wrong. So touch firmer. And in she goes. We're all going to miss putts. Doesn't matter how much you practice or how good you think you are, you're going to get fooled by greens from time to time and you're going to miss some putts. From 6 or 7 feet, the tour pros get around about 60% of putts in. So they miss, of course they do. But they're going to hold a lot more than the typical club golfer because their speed is good and because it's more consistent. Their tempo is more consistent right through. What they're really, really good at are those long ones, long uphill, long side hill, long downhill, because that tempo is so consistent and they've really worked hard on the distance control, and you should too. It is the most important aspect of your putting, and if you can improve your speed control, then you are going to have a lot fewer putts out on the greens. You're going to have fewer 3-putts and you're going to hold more putts, especially those breaking ones. Thanks so much for watching. There you go, just a couple of simple tips that can really save you a lot of strokes out in the greens. Reading the greens from side on is an often neglected part of preparing yourself for a putt. It just needs to be a quick look. Not studying it, overly studying it, just get a quick look from the side, because reading your speed is more important than reading the line. But what does everybody do? They squat down behind the ball and try to read the line. They put so much emphasis on that. You've all done it. You worried so much about the line, you forgot to hit it. You forgot about the pace. The pace is the most important aspect of your putting. And if you can prove it, then you really are going to lower your handicap. If you like this video, then hit that like button, subscribe to our channel, and we'll be back next week. Are you the best golfer you can be?